Hello, I'm Kim Kesti, Creative Director at Fun Stamper's Journey, and I'm super excited to be bringing you a fun technique video for this month's Bloom Box. We are on the July Bloom Box, and it is so full of summery goodness, I think you're going to love it. It's called Life's Sweetness. Especially for our subscribers to Bloom Box. You've received an exclusive link because I love to do that for you every month. Kind of dive into the box a little bit more, even though you already have your booklet. Let's check it out inside the box. Sometimes there's fun tips and techniques that we want to share a little bit extra instruction beyond what's in this pretty little booklet. But check it out, it's so fun. It's got a lot of little pictures and again, a few little tips already spelled out for you here. And of course, all the instructions on how to create the cards. So we're going to walk through each of the cards briefly, and I'm going to share just a few of these extra special fun things about each card. That is going to be awesome. And check it out. Oh my gosh, this month's stamp set is so great. What do you notice right away? Oh my gosh, our new packaging. Let me take it out of the cello so you can get a little bit better look without all that glare. Ooh, crinkle, crinkle. Sorry about that, Roy. So again, Life's Sweetness is the name of the stamp set. And we have this gorgeous new packaging with our new logo for Fun Stamper's Journey. How fun is that? Love it, love it. And this has 14 stamps in this set. So it's what I kind of call a builder set. We've got a lot of layering for our different strawberries, and we're gonna have so much fun doing these different techniques. I think we should just dive right in. What do you guys think? Let's do it. I'm gonna take a few of these stamp sets off and put them over here. The first thing we're going to actually do is go ahead and start with a background technique. So let's take this first card kit out. Move that guy away. This is the one with the fun little bread tag die inside. Of course, Karina and her team have done an amazing job kitting, as always. So there's a little bread tag. We'll set that aside. Got a little sweet pear panel and our card base. What you want to reach for first is this fun little square. This is the one we're going to be working with first. Now we have probably I think 4 different types of backgrounds that we're going to share on each of the cards as we move along. So these backgrounds might look like pattern paper, but they're not. They're going to be backgrounds that you are going to create on your own in your little craft space. And these are going to be fun techniques that you can use again and again and again for future cards. So check it out. This first one we're going to use is with liquid color. So we've got Watermelon Fusion liquid color. I'm going to grab just our little clear sheet. I save these from the stamps when I peel them apart. We call them workable sheets or clear sheets. And then I'm going to grab our Journey Square paintbrush. So just the one with the squared off tip. You can use any paintbrush, but you guys gotta know that our paintbrushes are awesome. They have really soft bristles. So again, I'm going to put a little bit of Watermelon Fusion on my Clearview sheet. You might have to add more as you go along, but we'll start with a puddle a little bit bigger than a quarter. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm just grabbing my medium mister that has water in it, and I'm just pouring out just a little bitty puddle here. Try not to flood it. So yeah, so just a little dab of water. I just want to be able to thin this watermelon out a little bit. The liquid colors are really strong and really bold, so you probably want to thin them just a little bit. Okay, now before I go right to my card base, what I'm essentially going to be doing is just creating kind of a stroked pattern at an angle from one quarter to the next, but I kind of want to practice a little bit, so try this at home. Practice with your brush, and what we want is kind of a real, I guess I'm going to call it a little bit drier brush technique. So I'm okay with the brush splitting a little bit, and that's going to give me even more of a plaid. Can you guys see that? Yep, I think so. So again, getting enough water, but not too much, that's the trick. And kind of letting your brush spread apart there. Okay, I'm gonna go for it, guys. Let's see what happens. Oh, fun. So I love that where the brush kind of separates a little bit, okay? Try it again right here. I'm leaving a little space between my brush strokes, you know, so we can start creating that kind of plaid look. Fun. You guys kind of get the idea, right? Again, not worried about the white space in between. I love that. Now let's turn it the other way and go the other direction and see if we can kind of come up with a plaid look. Kind of loving it. Again, make sure your brush is not too wet. Okay, here's where it really comes to life. See where it starts giving you that fun plaid look? And keep in mind that the liquid colors dry slightly lighter once they're dry. So this might look like super dark right now on camera, but when it dries, it really lightens up. So check it out. Super fun plaid background. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. Yours might be thinner, whiter, you know, more definite strokes. It really doesn't matter. All you really want is that really fun, playful, summery background. Does it kind of remind you of a little picnic or something? Love it. Okay, I'm going to clean up this space right here, and I will be right back. Okay, I've tidied that up. I went ahead and rinsed my brush because we're going to use that later. So rinse it off. We're going to switch colors. And now we're going back to this background. So I went ahead and folded my card base. So this is just going to be adorable, the bubblegum card base. And look how sweet it is already. Mine's only been drying a couple minutes, but it's already lightening just a little bit. So just want to share that with you. So cute. So we'll save this sweet pear piece for a few minutes from now. You've got this one longer strip of whipped cream. This is to stamp your strawberries. So I'm just going to stamp one of the strawberries to kind of show you. I'm sure you guys can figure this out. But the strawberries on this card are candy apple. Go ahead and ink it up. Maybe I'll turn it this way so I can do the little stem. You're going to get 3 strawberries on this sheet. 2 larger ones and then one of the smaller ones. But I did want to share with you the little stem, how sweet it is when it's layered up. I'm going to go ahead and start with my lighter green, that's lemongrass. And I'm going to stamp the more solid part of the stem. So this is the one that's a little more solid. Just going to kind of lay that on top of my little berry. So cute. We are going to be fussy cutting these out in just a minute. But then because I want the outline to pop a little more, I'm going to grab a darker green, in this case kiwi slice. And then I'm just going to go right above or right on top of what I just stamped. It doesn't have to be perfectly lined up, but the indexing will help you line it up. So see how that just makes the stem pop that much more. So cute. I got a little extra ink there, but we're going to trim that away. No worries. The last strawberry that we have is a little bit more solid one. So that's this little guy. And in order to get the seeds, I'm going to show you the finished card in a minute. We did the same technique as the green, only this time with red. We started with candy apple here, and then to stamp the seeds on top, I brought in cranberry bliss. So let me show you the finished card, because the rest of it's really just stamping and fussy cutting and assembling. Adding a few little goodies. Oh, excuse my head there, gosh. So here we go. There's our 3 adorable strawberries, and you can see on the tag that we went ahead and stamped some of the larger stems on the back of the bread tag. So that's kind of just peeking out back here. And then there's that little berry with a little extra dark red seeds on top. Isn't that sweet? Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I love the layering of all the colors. And then of course that plaid background just makes your whole card pop. So cute and adorable. Love that one. All right. So we will move on to the second card in our collection, which is this fun one. So this card is so awesome, and I really want to share. This background is more or less exactly what we just did, so I won't walk through the entire thing. This time you're using fresh forest ink on your panel. So same technique. If you don't like the larger brush, you can even take one of your blending brushes and experiment with doing your plaid shape, you know, with a narrower brush. So that would be fun too. But again, same exact technique, just using the fresh forest liquid color on top of our background. But this is what I want to talk about for this card. Doesn't that look fun? Let's grab out our card kit. So you can see that we've got an extra piece of cocoa powder cardstock in here, and that's how we're going to make our fun chocolate covered strawberry. Let's grab out the one we're going to stamp the regular strawberries, and then these guys you can just set aside. This is the one that you're going to be creating your plaid. So we'll just set those pieces aside. This time I want to grab our bigger strawberry. Let's grab the outline out. So you're going to take your little outline of your strawberry, and to create the chocolate covered portion, you're just going to go ahead and stamp it with cocoa powder. You could use black licorice, but the cocoa powder I think is dark enough to show up on this cardstock. But again, if you have any difficulty seeing it, go ahead and stamp it with black licorice. So see how it shows up? All right. So what you're going to do is take your detail shears and trim away. This is going to become your shell. You can go right along the ink line. If you leave a little bit of ink on there, it's totally fine. When we get to this part, you just kind of want to give yourself just a little bit of a chocolate dipped edge. So again, there's no line there from the stamping, but just kind of give yourself a little wavy edge there, just so it looks like something that would have dripped a tiny bit. Good. Now you've got your first little chocolate strawberry. And in order to get the frosting, that's what we really want to have fun with. I'm going to grab my clear view sheet. And now I've got our clear pigment re-inker. If you don't have the re-inker, you can go ahead and pull some ink off of your clear pigment pad. But if you have the re-inker, it's really going to be a lot easier to do this technique. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit out. It's quite thick, so you don't need a whole lot. Probably about the size of a dime. And then you just reach in this brush. Probably a long time ago had water in it, but it's pretty dry right now. So you really don't want water in your blending brush when you try this. So again, I'm just kind of picking it up. And then I'm just going to come onto my strawberry and just give myself some fun little swishes. Okay, so this is like the white frosting on your strawberry. Look how fun, it kind of automatically gives you a little brush stroke. I love that. So you can do any kind of pattern you want, any kind of decoration. I suppose you could even come get really fancy and do, you know, like a heart or something fun like that if you want that for your drizzle. We just kind of left it pretty plain. In order to clean this, you want to get a little bit of Fusion Blender and just swish this through a little bit of Fusion Blender, and then that'll clean this brush off. Don't let it dry very long on here because it probably will kind of make your brush really stiff. So Fusion Blender will clean that guy up. I'll set it aside and do that in just a minute. Now, you just kind of do your basic embossing technique. This is going to stay wet for quite a while, so you can do all 3 strawberries at the same time if you'd like. I'm going to slide this under just to catch my embossing powder. Just give your strawberry a little generous sprinkle there. Gosh, I guess I can use my tray, which I have handy here. Love the media tray for catching your extra embossing powder. Kind of flick it off a little bit. Okay, I'm loving it so far. So I'm going to bring out my heat tool and go ahead and emboss this. I might show you the very end of the embossing. I don't want to heat it all on video here, blast your ears out. So I'm going to start to emboss it, and then I'll probably bring you in just as I'm finishing it. Sound like a plan? Okay, be right back. Oh my gosh, you guys, how fun is that? It's probably still a tiny bit warm, but I've just got the sweetest little drizzle of vanilla frosting on top of my chocolate covered strawberry. I just love it. So much fun. So again, once you have your strawberry stamped out, exactly like we did earlier with the candy apple ink, then you just grab your cute little frosting and just adhere it right on top of your strawberry. So cute, right? I know some of you might have thought that that was a stamp in the stamp set, and it's not. It's just a fun little technique that we are very excited to share with you. So I want to see like chocolate drizzled everything on your future projects. Sound fun? All right, awesome. Okay, so we're going to move on to the third third card, and this is the similar background technique I will walk you through just briefly. I think this is fun. And this has more embossing also, which again we won't do on camera the whole way. But this time we're going to do this background with candy apple. So like I said, I rinsed my brush and I just kind of walk you through it once again. Instead of just going directly to the paper this time though, we're going to use a transfer sheet. So you have two options. You can either use the gel press. If you have the gel press in your possession, it's so much fun. So I'm going to show you first how to do it on the gel press, and then I'll show you the second method, which is equally as pretty, and it also is the method I'll use on the fourth card, but you can flip-flop and use whatever. So this time I'm going to be using the gel press. Go ahead and grab that out. This is how the gel press comes in the packaging, and always store your gel press upright. Just a little extra tip for those of you who have the gel press. You want to store this upright. If you lay it flat on your desk, a lot of times it'll get extra air bubbles on it. The air bubbles will go away, but just a reminder, store your gel press upright. Get mine out of the package here. So grab it out, Kim. Do it. All right. So we've got our gel press here, and like I said, we're going to grab candy apple liquid color. So the candy apple you can either put on the edge of your gel press, a little puddle, or you can put it on a clear view sheet or a clear block or anything like that. I don't mind having it over here because I know that the card panel I'm working with is only this big. So I kind of center my gel press on my grid paper right where that dot is. That kind of gives me an idea of how I'm going to create my plaid, right? So this time I'm not watering down the liquid color at all. I'm just going to go ahead and stroke it right on the gel press, and you can see right away that it starts to bead up. That's exactly the look I want. So again, I'm kind of just doing my little faux plaid here. I'm doing plenty of room. I mean, it's much bigger than the card base, but I want to give myself plenty of room here. And I love that it's beading up. Now when my paper goes on top, it's going to absorb a lot of those lines, so it won't look quite as beaded up. But now I'm coming back with my plaid going the other way. Make sure we've got plenty of coverage here. So again, you can touch up your plaids just a little bit if you want, but we really want that loose look. So here we go. Laying it on. This whipped cream cardstock is really going to suck up a lot of that moisture from the gel press. Check it out. Let's see how it turned out. Ta-da! Look at that, how fun! So we've got this fun, kind of artsy plaid look in the back. Quite different than our brush stroke, right? Gives you quite a different look, love it. And again, you can experiment with, you know, how quickly you put your strokes out versus how quickly you dip them in. Practice on some scrap paper if you want, practice on even plain old copy paper if you want, just to kind of experiment with how you get those different plaid looks. I know you're going to love this technique. So super fun. Like I said, I'm going to set aside the gel press. Let me show you the finished card. This one is so much fun. You're just going to do a little bit of layering with some vellums. Again, you can see that this original background came a little more solid than mine, which is totally fine. I think they're both adorable. This time you're going to white emboss your sentiment on the vellum. I love that. Think happy, be happy. So cute. And a lot of additional white embossing on this card too. So you're just going to stamp your outline of your strawberries and heat emboss with the white powder. So super fun. Love both of my plaid backgrounds. Awesome. And then like I said, the last method for doing the background, on the card sample we did use the gel press on both backgrounds, but we wanted to give you the option to use a clear view sheet also for that same method. So I'm grabbing out our very last card kit, which is the one with the bubblegum card base, the large card base, the little twine, the little tape that Karina so carefully packs. So I'm going to set this down just a minute while I rinse my brush. We're going to switch to green. Okay, fresh, clean brush. I wiped off my clear view sheet. I'm ready for this last technique, background. Okay, so clear view sheet. If you do not have the gel press, this is a perfectly acceptable alternative. This time we are going to switch to Limeade Splash. So I'm going to grab a clear block just to put my splash on, because I'll probably need most of this clear view sheet to create my background. So I'll just kind of pile this guy up here. Again, about the size of a quarter, maybe a little more. And then our paintbrush, and again, you don't really have to water this one down this time. Because we're going to be kind of bouncing it off this sheet, it's totally good if you use it full strength. So you can see that it's got a little bit different look than the gel press. You're going to get two different techniques. Both of them are super awesome. We're just kind of doing a straighter checked pattern this time. You can see that it beads up, and maybe not quite as much as it did on the gel press. We'll put one more up here. So see, as it sits, you can kind of see it bead up a little bit more. So depending on what look you want, we're just going to go for it, should we? Let's go for it. I'm going to lay our card panel down, and again, this is just whipped cream cardstock. If you use something like a splash sheet or watercolor sheet, you would have another different look. So that would be fun to experiment with. So here we go. Ooh, I love that. Isn't that pretty? So even if you don't have the gel press, you can still get really, really fun looks with just your clear view sheet. Love that. So again, as much or as little as you would like. Let me go ahead and grab our finished card out because it's just decked out with a whole bunch of yummy strawberries again. So check it out. This original one, we didn't go quite as high to the edge, so that's a fun look too. They're both absolutely gorgeous. And then again, this time we're just stamping in regular ink and we emboss the sentiments. Savor life's sweetness. Isn't that fun? So, I hope that you've learned some fun new techniques in this month's Bloom Box called Life's Sweetness. If you would like to subscribe or you have friends, you are already subscribed, of course, if you have this link. If you have friends that would be interested in Bloom Box, send them over to the website at funstampersjourney.com. You can click on Bloom Box and tell them all about it. You can see past Bloom Boxes. You'll probably even see a sneak peek of what's coming around the middle of the month. So check that out. I hope you have fun with the Bloom Box and have a great day.